Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are diving into the very first tier list on this channel, and we are tackling a big one, shiny items. There is a lot to consider here, so if you have a different opinion, please share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective. First, some important context. Starting in patch 6.9, you can only get shiny items after dueling shiny Gyarados or the shiny Mew and Mewtwo duo. Beating Gyarados at stage 9 always gives you the red scale, which significantly boosts your income and speeds up the game. But since every player gets it, I'm not including it in this tier list. Instead, I'm focusing on the choice you get after beating the PvE round at stage 14. You will get to pick from 3 options, and that's where the real decision making begins. Starting with D tier. The weakest shiny item in my opinion is the White Flute. It doesn't provide any stat boosts, and the effect is way too random. 3 random wild Pokemon might bring some value in specific wild comps, but let's be honest, games are won by few carries with the right items and synergies, not by sheer number of units. That's why the Flute stays here. The second item in this tier is a Sacred Ash. The biggest issue is that you get value far too late. Since your opponents will also have shiny items, you will likely be playing from behind at the start of the duel. Again, there's no stat boost, only the resurrection. This means that giving it to your carry leaves an item slot not fully utilized. Plus, in a late game roster of 8 or 9 units, you risk resurrect an average unit instead of a key one. It's slightly better than the Flute because a lucky revive can clutch a game, but it's very inconsistent. Moving up to C tier, we have the Comet Shard. On paper, it looks amazing, a huge attack boost and meaningful impact right at the start of the fight. In lower elo lobbies, this can be a devastating weapon. However, it has one huge downside. It's very easy to counter with right positioning. If your opponent adjusts, you are left with just plus 15 attack boost. It's decent, but the initial repositioning makes it pretty awkward to play with. Tier B was the most difficult to evaluate because these items offer great power spikes but require specific condition to really shine. Gold Bow. Extra units are always useful for building scary synergies, however there's no immediate impact. That plus 15 shield in the mid to late game isn't much and it's definitely not a carry item. It helps with tempo in long tactical games, but you might struggle if your opponents get an instant power spike. Golden Bottle Cap. This gives a nice crit boost, and if you are sitting on 50 gold, the power increase is solid, but it's not perfect. If you are low on HP and forced to roll down to 0, the item loses its economic value and crit power. It's a great item if you are healthy and already have crit or AD sets, but it's risky if you are struggling. Repeat Ball. This is tricky one. Your tempo might suffer early because you need to roll to build the bonuses. You need to be healthy and strong to use it properly. That said, the economic advantage grows with every roll. The shield and speed boost are definitely good and scale well into the late game, but I wouldn't call them a total game changer on their own. Shiny Stone. Extremely situational. You only consider this if you are playing or pivoting to a light synergy. If you are aiming for light 5, this is easily your best option. Otherwise, it's a skip. Absorb Bulb. The defensive boost here is massive. If your frontline has around 10 defense, this can cut incoming damage by 20 to 30%. Just a tip, because of how defense scales, don't combine this with Rocky Helmet. Instead, pair it with a Pokédoll or Green Orb. On a bruiser with a Shell Bell, it can become a huge HP restoring machine. We are almost at the top. Here are my top 3 shiny items. Hitting 3-star ultra Pokemon like Gengar or Luxray is a massive power boost. It can double your ability output and add extra targets, but here is a catch, you can't use it on most legendary Pokemons. You have to be aware of whether your ultra Pokemon is actually worth it and if it's part of your endgame plan. Second, Dynamax Band. This one is very simple. It triples a unit's HP. If you put this on a legendary or strong frontline melee units, you are looking at an extra 400 to 800 HP. Even on a range carry, it buys them so much extra time to do their job. Because it's so flexible and requires no special setup, it's an easy eater for me. Finally, my number 1 pick is Eviolite. It provides a wide range of boost, making it powerful at every stage and useful for both the frontline and the backline. Just like the rare candy, remember it won't work on most legendaries, but their versatility is the biggest strength. It is almost always a fantastic option to pick. That was my ranking. Do you agree with me or do you have a different opinion? Please leave a comment, I would love to know what you think. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!